And now, our feature presentation.
All right. Hello, everyone. Go back to another Beta Alpha Psi meeting today. We have Forvis Mazars, Jon Kaplan come speak to us today. Again, for those who are on Zoom in Metro, the QR code for attendance will be posted at the end of the meeting. So please stay behind for that, as it's very important for attendance, and also stay behind after for a couple of announcements. But again, if you are on Zoom, please turn your cameras on. We want to see those smiling faces. Let's make this meeting as interactive as we always do, and let's, make it a great meeting. And with that, I'll let you, Jon, take it away.
Unmute and put the volume up. Awesome. All the way up, you said? Okay, cool. And I'm going to go into presentation mode here. Okay, does everybody hear me? Yes? Okay, cool. Well, it's a little funny presenting to an actual class of 4 total people, but I know there's a lot of people on this Zoom, so thank you guys so much for coming to our Forvis Mazars presentation with your Beta Alpha Psi group. We're going to go over a few things today, some background about the company that Rachel's going to take us through. We're going to kind of go over our own experiences here, and then success as an intern at Forvis Mazars, since I know a lot of you today are looking for winter and summer internships. So that's what we're really going to be basing part of this presentation behind. So first off, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Jon Kaplan. I am the campus recruiter, one of our campus recruiters at Forvis Mazars, one of the 2 in the New York metro area. I handle our New Jersey and Long Island offices, and my counterpart, Rebecca Harmon, she handles our New York City office. So there's my email. If you guys want to take that down, this QR code right here takes you to our career website. Just a little bit of background about myself. I've been in campus recruiting for about 3.5, 4 years now. I was with another mid-sized firm before I joined Forvis Mazars. I actually joined Forvis Mazars right when Forvis acquired Mazars, which we'll go over during the presentation. So it's been an exciting last 8 months or so, and an awesome experience with the firm. So we'll go over more as we get into it, but I want to introduce Rachel. She's one of our tax partners.
Thanks, Jon. My name is Rachel Efthemes, and I am a tax partner at Forvis Mazars. Got a little bit of echo.
Yeah.
I am a partner in our private client group, which I can tell you more about that as we go through as well. But I've been with the firm this is my 15th year. I started when the firm was much, much smaller. So I'll give you a little bit of the history sort of in my background here, because it leads into where we're going and where the firm is today. But I started with the firm back in 2010 when it was Wiser, much smaller New York Metro regional firm as a staff accountant. I did my undergrad at Kutztown University in Pennsylvania and had some internships there. Started with a firm that is actually, it's Anderson Tax now. So it was WTS at the time, but I spent some time there and they were relocating. So I ended up looking for another job, and that's how I ended up at Wiser, just with 1 year of full-time experience under my belt at that point. Throughout the years, over the past 15 years, I've been through many different transactions. This is the biggest by far, and the most difficult for me, because I've always been on the larger size firm side. So I've always been on the side where we're sort of acquiring smaller firms and merging firms in. So there wasn't a lot of change for me. We always had the smaller firms changing to match what we were already doing, our processes and procedures and systems. But so the firm has definitely grown tremendously over those years. We've gone through, like I said, many acquisitions. We combined with Mazars. So we went from Wiser to Wiser Mazars, then to just Mazars USA. And that is when we were partnered with our global partner, which I'll explain in a little bit as well, Mazars, so that we had firms all over the world, but we were the US member firm of Mazars Global. Last June, we did the combination that Jon mentioned earlier to combine with Forvis. And Forvis was actually the combination of 2 smaller regional firms with a similar history to ours. We're all about 100 years old apiece. So these other regional firms were sort of like a Midwestern firm and a southeastern firm. So BKD and DHG combined about 2 years prior to our combination to become Forvis Mazars, or Forvis. And then when we combined last year, we became Forvis Mazars. And I'll tell you some more of our metrics to show you how big we became at that time. But like I said, so I've been through many, many transitions over the past 15 years, started as an associate, worked my way up to partner. I'm in my 4th year as partner. So I've been with the firm a very long time and can explain to you, all about the industry and the firm. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have along the way. So we want this to be interactive, not just a presentation of slides. So feel free, the people on Zoom, if you want to field the questions, as well as anybody here in person, feel free to just ask questions kind of as we go.
Awesome. Sounds good. I'm gonna kick it right here. So Rachel's gonna do a little bit of introduction. I know she kind of just talked a little bit about it, but our story and transformation and how we became global. Take this way.
Yeah. So as I mentioned.
I think- Hello?
We're good.
Oh, we're good. Okay.
Okay. As I mentioned, we just went through the biggest transition of both of our legacy firms last June to become this global partnership, Forvis Mazars. So this really does set us apart from other firms because it's a completely different structure as other firms. I mean, we don't need to get into details, but the big four, they do have lots of different offices in the United States. They do have offices throughout the world, but it's a different structure. So it's different in the way that they work together. It's different in the way they partner together. It's different from the way they can service their clients, which is unique to Forvis Mazars. And it makes it very seamless for us to not only work with our counterparts throughout the world and our colleagues throughout the world, but also with our clients and to be able to service clients, not only living in the United States that might have global reach and global businesses and global tax and consulting needs, but also working with clients that live all over the globe and being able to seamlessly service them without the client knowing any different on their side. So again, the network structure makes us very nimble. It makes it very consistent from the client's perspective, very consistent from our team's perspective. So there are opportunities for our teams to also cross collaborate and to move and work in other offices and to travel to different offices. But again, just makes it a very enhanced collaborative situation for all of our partners and all of our colleagues throughout the world, and increases efficiency, increases productivity. It's a very, very streamlined process, and that makes it nice for everybody, our clients and our teams internally. It was a historic moment just because of this large combination and the size of the firm that we've become now. By combining. And like I said, it was a very unique combination to make us this 2-member firm throughout the world that was different from the structures that have historically been in public accounting and professional services firm up to this point. We are going through a lot of unprecedented change in the world. So we take a very proactive approach to that, to be able to service our clients and our teams. So we try to be very nimble and right on the cutting edge of everything when it comes to technology, utilizing AI, streamlining things and making it as efficient as possible so that our teams can be at the forefront of everything. And we're providing an unmatched client experience, from A to Z with our clients. We are always on top of market shifts and trends, and what else am I missing? I already talked about the technological advances from a strategic position. So this does give us a really, really strategic position in the marketplace, not only to be able to service our clients and to be able to provide them with services that other firms are not currently providing, but it also gives our team members a unique experience that they may not otherwise get at another firm. So that's making us more attractive to people in your positions who are looking for internships that are not only an internship and like you're going to move on to somewhere else. We want you to come in and love it so much and see what a wonderful experience it is that you really want to stay and make a long-term career of it, like I have. I mean, again, the firm is much different from when I started, but all of these changes along the way, I think one thing that has remained the same is the culture. So we are now a $5 billion global firm. We still have the culture and the foundation that we had when it was Wiser. So there is a lot of that. And that's really what we saw as we were going through this process, and the partners were really deciding on if we wanted to combine and do this. We'll just call it a merger. It's not a merger, but we'll call it this merger of firms, this combination of firms, was that we all had this really strong foundation in this fabric of culture of having a smaller firm feel and smaller firm culture, but with the global reach and these, resources of a Big Four. So that's something why I've stayed throughout all of these combinations. And I think why a lot of our teams really appreciate the being able to work for a firm at the scale and the size and with the resources that we have and the type of high profile clients that we work with, but also having the culture and feeling like, we're in a strange way, like friends and family. Like, you really get to know the people that you're working with. You like the people that you're working with, and you sort of grow with them throughout your career. And you really learn a lot.
I really think that, like how you said, like the small firm feel, like all those cultures, I know you were from the very beginning, but even all the sub firms, if you want to call it, not sub firms, but the smaller firms that built up Forvis, those at the same time probably are feeling that as well, because there probably wouldn't have been the merger per se if these firms didn't see the same values within each other. So that's pretty much why it was two firms, that Mazars and Forvis, at the end of the day, that saw very similar values in each other, and that's how we made it all happen.
Yep.
So, cool.
Okay. I'm not normally the one who has to change the slides, so this is
You're on good spots.
So we are Forvis Mazars. We actually used to have a similar mantra or vision per se when we were just Mazars. We used to be We Are Mazars, and now we are Forvis Mazars. But again, it's because we had these very, very similar backgrounds and cultures and foundations of how we go to market, how we present ourselves to our teams, how we work together. So it was really, really easy and very seamless to combine. And again, we sort of have these similar backgrounds. So our purpose is to help those we serve unlock their full potential. Not only our clients, but we call our teams as well our clients. So we want to be respectful of the people that we work with in our teams, because we're really trying to help them develop meaningful careers, to feel purpose in what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, and really see where they can be long-term, and make this not just a job and a stopping place, but see a long-term career here and have fulfillment. So everybody wants to be happy at work. You spend a lot of time at work, so you want to be happy. Our mission is to build remarkable careers and provide an unmatched client experience. You've heard me say that before, through an uncommon commitment to excellence. So this was something, we didn't have this coined phrase, this unmatched client experience, but we had similar, the way that we refer to 5-star service, and unmatched service. We all were striving for excellence. It's just that Forvis had actually trademarked the term unmatched client experience. I call it UCX. So in all of our meetings that we're doing internally, that's something that we really, really focus heavily on, is providing UCX, this unmatched client experience, not only to our external clients, but our internal clients who are our teams. So when somebody sends me an email, I don't ignore it and get back to them 2 days later. Like if they have a question, I get back to them as soon as possible. Similarly, just the same way that I would with a client, because I want them to know that they're important to me. Even if I can't address it immediately, I'll let them know, hey, I got your email. I can't address it right now, or I don't have an answer for you right now. Can I get back to you tonight, tomorrow, whenever I have a minute? But these are all just the small things that I think set us apart. One differentiator that I see time and time again over the past few months, this is like a really big time where we start to get a lot of clients changing accountants, because it's sort of in between the tax filings. If they're on extension, they end like in October. Now we're sort of coming into the next year's busy season. So we see transitioning not only with team members leaving and coming to work for us, but also clients leaving their prior accountant and come to us. And something that I hear all the time is my accountant didn't get back to me, or they never answered me. They wouldn't answer my emails. They were not communicative. and they were non-responsive, that is the easiest thing, the easiest thing we could do. And it's just something so simple as like showing someone that you care, being responsive, being respectful. And that's really, again, just very simple things that make up this unmatched client experience. Our vision is, our forward vision is to be known for creating engaging opportunities, delivering innovative solutions, and building unrivaled relationships. So if you see forward vision, that's actually how Forvis got their name. It's for this forward vision. So that's how they created Forvis. I don't know, we weren't a part of that, but that's how Forvis, the name became. And it is a really good thought process, like forward vision. We're forward thinking. We're always trying to be one step ahead of technology, one step ahead of another firm, one step ahead on the cusp of everything, like as new tax laws are coming out. So this is something in my area of what I do. As the tax laws are coming out, as a decision is being made, we want to be the first one that reaches out to our client and say, hey, just want to let you know. For example, when the wildfires were happening in California recently, the IRS came out and said they're giving taxpayers who live in affected areas an extension of time to file, an extension of time to pay automatically if you're in the zone. So as soon as those things came out, we were reaching out to our clients that are affected by that and saying, hey, just so you know, number one, are you safe? We were reaching out to clients before this ever came out and saying, hey, are you okay? Do you need help? How can we help you? We want to make sure you're safe and let us know whatever you need. That was number one, most important. But number two, once this extension came out, we were reaching out to let them know. So just one example of kind of how you're always trying to get, not only provide UCX, but be forward thinking, how can I help the client? What do they need? What are they looking for us to be? Not just somebody who files their tax returns every year, but we really want to be the trusted advisor that is able to help them. And that's a more rewarding part, not only for the clients that we're there to always be helping them and making sure they're taken care of, but for our teams as well. You know, the day-to-day taxes and compliance and auditing may not be the most exciting and like sexy thing to think about. And so your friends like, oh, I'm an auditor, I'm a tax accountant. They probably think like, oh, that's super boring, but it's really not. Another example I can give you, I'm totally like off script here. Sorry, John.
No, go ahead.
But
That's great.
I was doing a Zoom earlier to help a client of mine change their residency from New Jersey to Florida. It is a retired New York Giant NFL football player. Very famous. If I told you the name, you would definitely know who he was. But like, these are the type of people that you get the chance to work with. Like, I'm sitting on a Zoom, talking to this person, like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while, I haven't talked to you in a while. I work with another retired Arizona Cardinal football player. He's texting me when I told him that he didn't have any payments due for the fourth quarter in January. He says, I love you, with a little heart emoji. I'm like, this is like, you know, maybe not exciting to everybody, but like, I'm a super big football fan. I know these people. And it's like, just to be able to work with these people. And that is really what's exciting for the team as well. So if you get to, not every single person you're going to work with is famous or you would recognize their name, but every client has a unique situation. And there are a lot of different interesting, exciting things that you get to work on that you probably never even thought of. Like, there's so many things that I never thought, like, wow, I didn't know people were doing that. I didn't know that was a business. I didn't know you can make money doing that, or how much wealth people have, or how they plan around charitable foundations and different things that they're doing. So it can be interesting, and it really is kind of what you make of it. But here, with the resources that we have and the expertise that we have and the specialists that we have, especially at this large scale now, we have the opportunity to be working with really interesting, unique, special clients, and it makes it more fun, even on the day-to-day weird, you know, somewhat what you'd think boring compliance stuff can be interesting. So in addition to that, be bold is another statement that sort of came from the Forvis side, but everybody has gotten on board because it is really what makes up the fabric of our team as well, as being bold, and it's an acronym. Be your best self, excel always, be builders. We operate as one firm, lead with integrity, and deliver that unmatched client experience. And really, you know, it's not that you have to say, oh, be bold, or, you know, think about this acronym every day, but it is kind of what we do. Like, you want to take risks. You want to be out there in the market and talking to clients and like bringing ideas to them and like going out and networking with people. And, you know, I'll tell you, it wasn't something that came natural to me, as I think it's kind of normal for a lot of people to do public speaking, or to be up and giving presentations, or to come and talk to people like this, or go to networking events and just mingle and, you know, make small talk with people. But you have to kind of take that chance and get out of your comfort zone and do it. And the more you do it, the more you get comfortable doing it. And then you see that that's the more fun part too. It's like not sitting in the office. It's like getting out and meeting people, and that just creates more opportunities. So being bold, be your best self, always leading with integrity, just being a good person and thinking again, like, how can I help you? And really operating as one firm, that is one thing that I really, really enjoy here and that I see is super easy and seamless, is like all these different resources that we have, like I said, to work with global partners. I just got a prospect call yesterday from a JP Morgan advisor that said, I have this person that we're starting to work with, and they're from Korea, and they're coming over, and they like, it's like a founder of a hedge fund and has all these different unique things happening. And so of course I'm like Googling and looking at our website and saying, oh, like we have an office in Seoul, South Korea. He's like, oh, he's actually from there. So I said, great. Like, you know, we don't know if we're going to need that, but we might need that. And if we do, easily just reach out to somebody in that office that may be able to help us if we have questions, like specific questions with regards to the cross-border with Korea and the United States. So,
I mean, yeah, even just going off of that, like, I'm just realizing like the whole be bold movement, it's for anything when you're with a firm, and especially as a young professional in a firm, if you see any kind of opportunity, definitely take advantage of it, because you never know you never know what group you're gonna be working with, you never know what industry you're gonna be working with. And if there's an opportunity for you to maybe meet another partner or meet a director with our firm and if you impress them, maybe something else can jolt your ideas of what you want to do in your future. So definitely taking any opportunities is only helpful.
yeah, 100%. Like you said, I mean,
Even a campus recruiting opportunity.
even a campus recruiting opportunity, because really you never know what's going to lead. So I didn't give you my whole backstory that I normally do at presentations when we're at the firm and people come into our firm, but I wouldn't be here speaking to you today if I hadn't done the same thing and gone to the Meet the Firm night at Kutztown when in my junior year. I had gone to community college, taken some time off, and then gone back to Kutztown when I was like a little bit older. So in my mind, I was like an ancient at 25, like, you know, grandparent in my mind, like, oh my God, all these kids are so much younger than me. But I was like, all right, get over my anxiety, go to this Meet the Firm night. I ended up meeting somebody that was an alumni who worked at the WTAS. And that's how I got my first internship and all of that. He actually ended up leaving, but when the firm was relocating, I reached out to him, and he was a partner with one of the partners at Weiser. They used to be partners together at Ernst & Young many years ago. And he got me the interview at Weiser, and that's sort of how I ended up there. And the rest is history. But it's just, again, meeting people, building relationships, and being able to develop those and leading to different experiences and different opportunities with, again, meeting sort of these new clients and different things. You never know where it's going to take you, you know?
Absolutely.
So again, global to see the big picture, but local to understand. I think that's what you've heard as we've already been talking about, is that we have immense resources, but when you work in the New Jersey office, like I work at, or even we go to the New York office, which is really snazzy and new and everything's like, you know, like standing desks and big screens and like walls that you can write on. And like, it's really snazzy. We just had it remodeled with all new like technology and everything during COVID. But it doesn't feel like, ooh, like scary and like partners, cool. We just sit with our doors open. We're normal people. And I work directly with interns and staff, and it's very much different than what you would think of like a firm of our size. It's very much like a small firm feel, and you just feel comfortable and you build relationships, and it's just really nice. Local to understand our clients in the markets that we serve, but also with the reach globally if needed. So just to give you some scale of what that means. So again, Weiser, when we started, I don't even know what we were, but what we were right before, we were probably way down on the list. But what we were even before we combined with Mazars on a global scale, we were not a top 10 firm. We were definitely not at this revenue. So we are over $5 billion in revenue currently, a top 10 firm globally. So of all the professional service public accounting firms in the world, we are in the top 10. As you can see with all of the blue, we have offices in a lot of different countries. So in over 100 different countries with over 400 offices, almost 2,000 people, or 2,000 partners, I should say, and over 40,000 people worldwide that are working for Forvis Mazars at this point. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of nice when people ask me questions, like when I talk about our global firm and stuff like that. They say, "Oh, do you have an office in so and so?" I just say yes, because we probably do.
Yeah.
If I've heard of the country before, if I've heard of the city before, we likely have an office there, which is pretty cool. It's a nice little flex.
Yeah. And then I keep going back to my stories. I know.
Yeah.
But I just got a text message literally last week from a woman that is a partner in Ireland, one of our Ireland offices that I met back in 2021, I think. So we got to go to a global partner conference in Madrid. I met her there, and we've just continued to build this relationship and continued, like, we're connected on LinkedIn every now and then. We'll text each other or whatever, but she's going to be in New York in March. So even though it's right before the March 15th deadline, for me, I said, I can't pass up this opportunity. I haven't seen you in person in a few years, and who knows when the next time you're going to be back or when I'll be out there. But we're going to do lunch. So she's going to be in the New York office. I'm going to go in that day. We're going to have lunch. And that's just one of the many relationships that I've built with global partners throughout the world where we're still connected. There was a women's conference that the firm sent me to in Milan in Italy back in 2018 before I was even a partner. But it was so amazing. It was only women. We got to go, it was a leadership conference. So we were learning more of like the soft skills and how to manage and how to sell and so many different things. But the best part about it was not only like learning these different types of skills and building and developing yourself, but meeting women from all over the globe. And it was like so interesting to just talk to them after all of our sort of training was done during the day. And we would sit and have dinner together and have some drinks. And we would talk about, there were differences obviously, but there were so many similarities about the struggles that we've had with our teams or the struggles that we had with resources. And, being able to staff things or questions or technology or things like that. It was just really amazing. So, and you'll see, if you hopefully will connect with us on LinkedIn, you'll start to see these posts of our teams going out, even managers I just saw were in Ireland at like a week-long retreat. And again, like they're getting that opportunity pretty early on in their career as a manager to go and meet other people across the globe, develop these relationships, and get a nice fun trip kind of out of it as well. So going to training in New Jersey at the New Jersey office is not quite as exciting as going to Ireland, but so even in the United States, very impressive numbers, I think. So now, sort of as wiser, we were really Northeast based. We were a regional firm in the Northeast for the majority of the 100 years. We had started to expand. We had a Chicago office. We have 2 offices. So the 3 offices, well, what are they now? 4 offices in California.
Yes.
Those California offices were Mazars offices. We had a Dallas office. Yeah, but really, again, a lot of them sort of within that whole Midwestern, Southeastern is from a geographic perspective where Forvis filled in for us. And then we filled in the Northeast and California, and obviously the global international team that they didn't have before. So, oh, go ahead.
No, so I was just gonna say, it's also very nice, just like it provides so many opportunities, especially for students in their young careers. Like we have winter interns right now. I just had my one-on-ones with all my winter interns and just kind of figuring out like they're gonna be done in April, and some of them are gonna be graduating from school in May, just trying to get an idea of next steps, what they want to do full-time potentially. And one of them's like, I'm actually really interested in moving to Tampa Bay. One of them said, I'm really interested in moving to Chicago. So it's kind of nice just to know that if you come in as an intern for any of our offices, there are so many different places in the country or even the world that you can go next. So pretty much any big city that you're really looking for, or any small city, honestly, we can usually make it work. And it does feel good to just be able to let someone know where they actually want to live and connect them with a recruiter from the other office. And it's a very seamless experience, and it's very enjoyable to be able to work with a team, regardless of whether you're an intern that's going to be an entry level, or you're a partner looking to maybe move down south to Florida, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
So it's pretty
100%.
cool, it's just a nice feeling.
Yeah, because they're like John said, throughout this, there are so many other offices, there are small offices, like we're kind of everywhere now at this
Yeah.
point. We do have also some fully remote employees. I'd say not many at this point. We really like to have people closer to offices so that even on a hybrid schedule that you're sometimes in the office, sometimes working from home. But there is a lot to be gained from being physically in person in an office. There's so much that I learned that I would not have ever learned from just listening to a partner on a phone call with a client, or a partner, or, you know, a manager, or somebody pulling me into their call and saying, hey, be in on this, listen, you know, on this, or take notes while I have this prospect call. You just sort of learn through osmosis, through organically listening to somebody else, and then listening to somebody else do it. They may be doing it totally different. And then that's how you curate your own style, is that you take a little bit from partner A, a little bit from your manager over here, and say like that, I think that really would work for me. I like that style, or I like this style, or, you know, that's how you kind of figure out what's going to work for you. And because not everybody is the same. Everybody's going to have their own different style, even if it's just teeny tiny bit different. Everybody's going to have some different way of the way they work with their teams, the way they manage, the way they even write an email. Like, it's, everybody has their own style. So that's kind of how you learn, through observing other people, through working with other people. And not that it's impossible to do that remotely, but it definitely makes it a lot harder when you're not in person. And just, there's a lot of just organic learning and growing and opportunities. Like I said, people pulling you in and say, or even just seeing you there physically and saying, oh, hey, I have this golf event tomorrow. Do you want to come with me? Or, you know, just random things like that. So it is important. And we do very much promote a hybrid working environment. But as you can see, top 10 in the US, prior to June, like I said, Mazars, I think we were like 38 or 39, over 2 billion in revenue just in the United States, with over 600 partners and over 700, or with over 7,000 employees just in the US. So again, major US team, with lots of opportunity to not only travel within the United States, for different audits, even for training. So we have trainers, so people on our team currently who are sent to Orlando, sent to Houston to do first year associate training or intern training. And it gives them a chance to like get out and do some travel. And, you know, a lot of times people will extend it, whether a few days before, a few days after, if they want to make it sort of turned into work/personal trip. So lots of different opportunities to meet other people and to travel and to relocate if that is in your plan. So just quickly, I won't go into major detail with this, but this just gives you a good cross-section of all of the different industries that we serve. Anything I think you would typically see in a firm of our size. So commercial products, construction and real estate, dealerships, financial services, all of these things, from an audit, tax, and consulting advisory perspective. So we really do everything. If it's something you've heard of, we probably do it. And if we're not currently doing it, it's probably on the list of things that we're going to be doing at some point. If you see in the bottom middle, Forvis Mazars private client, that's what I do. Private client is, it's 3 main services that we provide in private client. It is family office, wealth management, and consultative tax. So I really spend the majority of my time in consultative tax, dealing with high net worth individuals. So high net worth individual is sort of like the main focus of what starts a relationship. And then anything in their world and their realm and their life is what I handle. So if they have an LLC, a partnership, an S corporation, trusts, gifting, private foundations, and any type of tax compliance and advisory related to that, we handle. Really, wealth transfer, anything that might come up. We've helped people find realtors to buy and sell homes, or, you know, connect them with attorneys to do estate plans. So we work on the plans, we just don't draft documents. So we're not attorneys, we don't draft the actual legal documents, but we'll work with other advisors and do that. Similarly with, we have now, like I said, a wealth management team. So we do have assets under management, but we also work with many different advisors at big banks, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, you know, anyone that you can think of. We have many different relationships there that we work very closely with on current clients.
Thank you, Rachel. Awesome. So I want to go over a few things just regarding like our internship with Forvis Mazars and kind of getting to that point. But I don't want you guys to think some of the stuff I go over is just for Forvis Mazars because a lot of it will apply to maybe anywhere you go. But just starting off here, your internship with Forvis Mazars, so you'll have exposure to our audit, tax, or consulting engagements and work with work in different industries. Obviously, like I say, if you're an audit intern with us, you'll likely be working with the audit team. You won't be working with the audit, tax, and consulting team. But I think a pretty cool thing to highlight regarding those first two bullet points right there is being part of a large midsize, or I like to call us a large midsize firm. You get the opportunities to work with different types of clients, different types of industries. Sometimes, like I said, don't quote me because I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but from what I hear from a lot of people at Big Four firms, most of the time for interns and entry-level associates, you'll get thrown on one client and you might be on that client for 1.5 to 2 years. For an internship, you'll probably be on the client the whole time. With a large mid-size firm like ours, you will get to work with different types of clients. You'll get to work with different types of industries. And I think that's a really cool opportunity to have. And I think that bodes well for a better internship experience in total.
Yeah, 100%. I want to just highlight that
Yeah.
is one of the differentiators between us and a Big Four. You know, I know that they have like snazzy name recognition. It's like, oh, Big Four. You know, you're just not going to get the same experience, and that's fine. Like, not everybody wants the same experience, and somebody may like that over this. But if you're looking for a more diverse experience, we're going to be working on different types of clients, different industries, get the opportunity to maybe do audit or do tax or both, or consulting, a little bit of everything. We really, even when we're bringing in tax associates at the first year, we don't pigeonhole you into one thing. Like, I don't have private client associates. So we have tax associates. So you're going to be working on the corporate side, you may be working on, you know, M&D, you may be working on real estate, you may be doing some private client, but we really want everybody to be a generalist and have that really solid base so that you can work on the entity tax return, that you can work on doing a write-up to where you're working on a P&L on a balance sheet and you understand the accounting part of it. And then on the private client side, there's entity work there too. So that then you're also going to get the opportunity to work on maybe some different types of clients and work on that side. So it's a broad range. And then as you sort of get further along in your careers and when you start to specialize in more of like one area, but that's more at sort of the senior into manager level, where again, you've had the experience to know, I like this, I don't like that, and then it's more selective where they don't just decide for you. Like, you're going to be in international tax and work on one client for the rest of your life. I'm exaggerating a little bit there, but not so much. Like, we've had many people who leave there and come to us and just say it was terrible. Like, I never got to change. I never had a choice to do anything. I was just working on that. I never got to choose from the beginning. It's like, it's a very limiting experience for growth, number one, and also for just happiness, I think,
Definitely. No, that's a great point. And then kind of just going off of that, like getting experience to help plan out your career path. Like I said, I mean, we hope to give any intern the best possible experience at Forvis Mazars. Obviously, that's where you can really understand and feel like, okay, is this like a large mid-sized firm the right one for me? Or maybe I feel like I want to be part of a way smaller firm. Maybe I want to go Big Four. So the internship gives you that experience to really help plan your career path and give you an idea of where you want to go in the future. And then just part of the internship, getting to know Forvis Mazars in depth and the office and community activities. So pretty much as our firm has grown, our recruiting team is going to start approaching things at probably a higher scale now. I know this summer for the internship, we're really going to start that. So our 3 New York metro area offices, our New Jersey office, our Long Island office, and our Manhattan office. So a lot of the stuff we're going to be doing everything in New York. So our New Jersey and Long Island interns are going to get to come to New York a little bit more for some events, getting to know Forvis Mazars. So we're going to be having some partners doing some presentations on what they do specifically. So like maybe an audit intern who works with our real estate group can learn maybe something that Rachel is doing with a private client service group, and they can kind of understand that a little bit more and maybe see, oh, maybe I want to learn about that, and maybe see at some point in their internship if they can kind of hop on a meeting or get some more experience in that realm of things. And then office and community activities throughout the internship. In our winter internship, there's not as much because it is busy season, and you're getting a lot of experience on that more professional side. In the summer internships, there we do a bunch of community activities, definitely philanthropy opportunities, maybe some fun opportunities like maybe a scavenger hunt in Central Park. And then the most fun one we do is towards the end of the internship, we get a suite at a Yankees game and bring all the interns to that, which I'm already looking forward to on July 31st.
There's still fun stuff. during the
Yes,
winter
there is.
internship too.
There is fun stuff during the winter internship, and I'm gonna get to that in a little bit. And we actually are doing something for the winter interns tomorrow in the New York City office, so there is fun stuff. It's just a busier time.
It's busier. In my experience, just giving you the
Yeah.
experience, I had multiple different internships. The ones where I was busier and I had actual work to do,
Mhm.
far more exciting than the ones where we were just kind of sitting there like, what am I doing? Like, I really am here to try to learn something. I mean, getting paid to do nothing is not horrible, but it makes the day really long if you're just sitting there with nothing to do. So, not only is it more exciting and interesting if you are busy and have work to do, but you're actually learning something so that when you start working, you're like, oh, I might remember that, or, you really, though, just keep this in mind. No one expects you to know anything when you come in. So like, don't let that
Yeah.
limit you to what you're going to apply for or go out and try to get, because even our first year associates, we really do not expect you to know anything. This profession is very much hands-on learning on the job. So yes, you learn the base in school. So you learn the theoretical and the practical foundation of that, of accounting, obviously, and tax, or some tax classes and, an audit class or two, but you really learn the profession and what you're doing and your tasks on the job. It's very apprenticeship like in that regard, is where you're learning to use the software, you're learning to use the programs, you're learning how to file a tax return on the job.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm getting more into that towards the end, but life during your internship at Forvis Mazars. So the comprehensive onboarding process, I think what we do is a perfect way to bring you on board with Forvis Mazars. So pretty much how it starts, whether you're an intern or an entry-level associate, you'll start on a Thursday. So I'm gonna just talk for the internships. So for the winter and summer internship, you'll start on whichever given Thursday that is. You'll be reporting to the office. And right now, what we're gonna be doing is reporting to the New York office for all the interns on the first Thursday. And it's pretty much a national onboarding. So you'll be in a room just like this with your computers, and there will be somebody presenting on screen that's presenting to the whole country of interns, which is pretty cool. And you'll get to meet everyone. And then the next day, you'll work from home on that Friday. And then the following week, the interns will be going out to Orlando for the national intern training, which I think is awesome that you get to meet different interns throughout the country. And it just kind of puts you kind of on an island of just, okay, you're here to learn. There's no distractions. Everyone's here for the same reason. We have an awesome learning and development team that's going to be there, that's there to work with you. So I think that's a really cool part. And then the next Monday that you come back, you're all trained and ready to go. That's when you'll start meeting with your tag team, which is our talent alignment groups. They're the ones who provide work to you. They're the ones who you would go to like during your internship and say, hey, like I really think I want to get on a client with this industry, and that's who kind of helps you out with all that stuff. So I think that the onboarding process is awesome. It's not too long. It's not, oh, sorry about that. I'm drifting. It's not too long. It's not too short. And right when you feel like you're probably going to get tired of training, it's over. So that's what I think is pretty cool. Mentoring and coaching. Each intern and each associate will be provided with one guide and one coach, a performance coach. So what your performance coach does is they're the ones who will oversee how you're doing on your internship. They will be in communication with us, letting us know, making sure everything's okay. I would say probably like 90 to 95% of the time, everything that you're doing is pretty much okay. So they'll keep us posted on all that. And that's where you would send your feedback to, when you're getting feedback from your, whoever you're working with on clients, you'll be sending that their way. This way they meet with us at the ends of the internship and we move forward with whether we're going to go with an offer or not. Your guide is pretty much like your best friend. I mean, I don't want to call it your best friend, but the person we match you up with, our buddy guide. I think the Forvis and Mazars sides are still like dueling at that. Like, are we going to call it a buddy or a guide? But they're pretty much, I always like to put this in a way. If you feel uncomfortable asking somebody a question, ask your guide, because that's what they're for, or your buddy, ask them because that's what they're for. And they're there to help you if you're going through a hard time with something. They're a good person to reach out to if you don't want maybe your performance coach to know about like something that you're going through, or maybe a partner in the office. That's what they're for. And then career advancement opportunities. Like I said, that's what the internships are for. Your goal as an intern is to get an entry-level full-time offer. So I think it speaks for itself. It's pretty simple, and it allows you to understand, okay, is audit for me? Is tax for me? A lot of people, like we have one intern in our Long Island office right now. She did 2 tax internships for the last couple of years, and she just didn't feel it. And she's doing an audit internship with us right now, and she's fallen in love with audit. So it gives you the real opportunity to figure out how you want to advance your career. And then the people first benefits and work-life balance. I would say this probably applies to the entry-level associates a little bit more, but I mean, it's not that different. Work-life balance, we like to consider that your FTO. It's called flexible time off. It's honestly just a fancy way to say unlimited PTO, which is a pretty cool benefit with our firm. As long as you're getting your work done and you're getting it done efficiently and you're not abusing it, no one's ever going to give you a hard time, which is pretty nice. I feel like in all the other jobs, this is the first job I've ever had where it's FTO. I don't feel like I take more days off than I did before. So it's about being a team player, and you'll get the benefits that come behind with it. And then the other benefits we get, I mean, health, vision, dental, 401k, profit sharing, the whole thing. You're valued as an employee with our firm. And I think everyone who's come through has really understood that and felt it. So it's part of the reason why I love working here.
And just to highlight some of those things, if you were to stay, again, obviously our goal was for you to come in and love it. And that's what we want, is that it's much easier to train you from day one and have you work your way throughout the firm, because there's consistency then. There's consistency of teams, there's consistency of culture and values, there's consistency of clients and those relationships. So that's really our goal, was for you to really love it. But so all of these benefits really follow through your entire career. And I think that's why a lot of people stay, why I've stayed, why you love it here so much, is that these benefits, like your coach and your buddy or guide. I still have a partner, I have a coach, and I also have guides. When people onboard, even we just had a senior manager and a director onboard in our New York office over the past month. They have guides, they have coaches. Like, this is an ongoing process. We all have areas where we can continue to develop and grow and learn and, improve throughout our careers. And that's going to change as you continue to grow through your career. Those are going to be different things. So you're going to need somebody to be your coach, to bounce ideas off of, or ask questions, or, so it's nice to have those things. That flexible time off, again, like, it's unlimited. There's really there's no fear of I'm not going to have enough days. I can't use this day, or I can't go on this vacation with my family because I don't have any more days left. It's just use your time, and everybody is treated as a professional and able to, use their time when they want to use their time. And we have definitely different arrangements, flexible working arrangements for people. And that also might change throughout your career and your life. Mine changed when I had my daughter. I went 80% for a short period of time, then came back full time. We have paternity leave. So anything you can think of, they're really, really nice benefits to have. And more so, I think, just the teams, like these sort of little one-off things that we do, like the games and the team building events and just little ways to make work more fun and to build the relationships with your team so that you feel like, yeah, this is really the place that I want to be and stay forever. Cause I mean, public accounting is public accounting, but really makes the difference with why you want to stay, why I've stayed, why you're hearing John's story, why he stays. It's the people and the culture of the firm. It's really what's going to make you want to stay here and do the work here, because the work may be similar other places, but really the uniqueness of the culture and the feel of the firm and people and the type of work we're doing, the type of clients that we work with is a little, unique and special in that way.
Definitely. Cool. And then this is just, this goes honestly even before you're an intern with our firm. This is whether you're at a career fair, applying for a job, going through interviews, whether it's with Forvis Mazars or any other firms, responding, being professional. I always say the number one thing I think I value the most is communication. Making sure you're responding to emails within 24 hours is super important. There's no reason why you shouldn't be checking your school email or your personal email like 3 to 5 times a day. I think I probably check my personal email 5 to 10 times a day. It's a lot. I don't know why. I just don't like missing anything. I like getting back to people because I personally don't like when people keep me waiting, especially, and you never know who it's going to be. Like as a recruiter, I'm probably the most important person that you're talking to when you are trying to get an internship. So if I send you an email saying, hey, like I saw your application online, I'd love to get you in for a screening call. Let me know if you have any time this or next week. And it takes you 3 days to respond. That's not the best look, because if you take 3 days to respond to me, how do I know that you're not going to take 3 days to respond to Rachel if you're working on one of her engagements? So I definitely think being professional with your communication is numero uno. And obviously just limited when you're actually on your internship, limited use of phone. Just make sure you're taking care of what you need to do. Organize, don't leave anything behind or unguarded. Definitely don't leave your computer unguarded. Treat everyone with respect, listen, be prepared. I think that's super important. If you're going to give someone the time, make sure you're giving them your undivided attention, and always keep your supervisor informed on your schedule and your work process. As an intern, especially, you shouldn't just be doing rogue work. Someone should know the work that you're doing and making sure that it's being done in an efficient manner. Definitely engage as an intern, like we were talking about earlier. Be present and connect and build relationships. Like I said, if any opportunities come about, take advantage of them. You're an intern here for a few months. Your final goal at the end of the day is to get a full-time offer. Whether you think you love the firm or you're just not so sure, getting an offer never hurts. You never know where you're going to be 3 months later in your internship. So you never know who you're going to run into. You never know who you're going to talk to. You never know who you're going to work on an engagement with, but you're there on an internship that a lot of other people were trying to get as well. Take full advantage of it and make sure you're always participating and saying yes to learning.
Yeah, and really it's, well, in any aspect of life, but particularly I'm speaking of this, like it is going to be what you make of it. So really, if you just kind of do the bare minimum or just like come in and don't connect with people or don't talk and just come into your work, like it may not be as fulfilling and enjoyable as if you come in and go to, if there's a networking event, or go to the after hour social with people, or, you run out of work and you ask the person next to you, or you ask your guide, or you ask your coach, or you go to the tag team and say, hey, I'm out of work right now. Like, is there anything else I can work on? Like, I can help out another, segment if they need help, or another sector. Like, is there anything I could do? Is there anything I can help you? Like, it's all about making the most of it. And it's, we're going to do the best we can to give you the best experience, but also there's some responsibility for you too, to really be taking the opportunities when they're given to you, saying yes to things. Getting out of your comfort zone is not always the most fun, but in a lot of times it is the most rewarding, and that's where you're really gonna grow the most and really have rewarding experiences, is when you say, oh, I was super scared to do that, but I'm
Yeah.
really happy that I did because it was the best experience, or, you know, I met this person, or it led to another opportunity. So I just really hope that you do, you know, take the opportunity, and it will be rewarding. The more that you put into it, the more you'll get back out of it.
Definitely. And like and just kind of going off of that, going off of being present, that means literally being present in the office. We do have obviously a hybrid work environment where when you come in as an intern, we expect you to be in at least 3 days a week, but we're not asking you to come in 5 days a week every single Friday, but making sure that you really are staying true to that, maybe coming in 4 days a week, making sure that you're talking to people around the office, because people do notice that. And I can promise you, at the end of an internship, if we're making offers and let's say like we're between like a couple people based off of the performance reviews and experience, like whether it's a managing partner or one of the supervisors in the office, they'll notice who is coming, who's present more, who they feel like they've never seen, and stuff like that. So it's the least you can do during your internship is being present.
Well, that's just human nature too,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like if I'm in every day and I see John in the office every day, I know John now, I've seen his face, I recognize it. So if somebody says like, oh, if everything looks exactly the same on paper, and someone says, do you want Bob or you want John? And I said, well, I don't know Bob. Like everything looks the same, but I know John. I've interacted with him. He's a very nice guy. I see him in the office all the time. So my vote's gonna be for John, you know?
You might be picking Bob because 30% of the 50% of the time my office is on a campus right now. So you might be picking Bob on this one.
I might be picking Bob, but
I'm kidding. No, she,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, what I do is a little different than some people.
yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
like, you know, our audit teams are a lot of the times out of clients.
Yeah.
Today I was not in the office because I was coming here,
Yes.
so I work, you know, I live an hour to an hour and 15 from my everyday office in New Jersey anyways. So, you know, tomorrow I'm gonna be in our New York office. So my team in New Jersey may not see me every day, but we're connecting every day,
Yes.
you know?
Absolutely.
So I do want to make sure that our private client team is all over the New York metro area. So I do try to make time to meet with people in New York, New Jersey. But it is impactful to be in the office. I'd say many firms are shifting back to that. I don't know if anybody saw the news this week, Jamie Dimon telling his people at JP Morgan that to be in 5 days a week, and he does not care. If they don't like it, they can go work somewhere else. We are not doing that, but there is value, and I understand where it's coming from, and there's value in being in person. And what I talked about earlier with the learning and creating, you know, an environment that people want to work at and want to be a part of.
Definitely. Feedback for success, obviously, getting feedback is super important. We require you to get about four to five feedbacks from different people that you work with throughout an internship. Pretty much what it does, it gives us the knowledge at the end of the internship, what you've been doing, who you've been working with, and it's good for yourself as well to just make sure that you're getting feedback and hopefully you see it trending up throughout your internship. I think that's super important. And well, as you're getting feedback, if maybe you're not so happy with your first couple, that's where you talk to your coach, your supervisor, and whoever's in charge to make sure that you're on the right path and making sure that you're gaining the skills and knowledge that you are hoping to obtain throughout the internship and how that could be applied just moving forward in your life, wherever your career takes you. So, and like I said, this is important for both technical and non-technical skills. Like I said, the non-technical skill that I went over was communication throughout the internship. It shouldn't be like you're improving your communication. I think it should just become second nature, that you're just doing the right thing, same thing over and over and over again. So I think that's super important when it comes to the feedback and progressing your skills.
And it's gonna help you. So like I said, that's something that's gonna be throughout your entire career. You're gonna have, you're gonna receive feedback, you're gonna be required to give feedback, and it's not always gonna be positive. I will tell you,
Yes.
it's not that it's meant to be mean, but constructive feedback sometimes is not easy to take. I've received a lot of it and still do. But it's, once you get it and after maybe it stings a little bit, you're like, oh, well, let me see from someone else's perspective how that might be true and how can I work on this and become better. And ultimately, all of the constructive feedback that I've ever received in my life has helped me get better, be better, work with people better.
Yep.
So it is meant in it comes from a place of love.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it maybe sometimes at the time, but that's something you'll learn throughout your career too. It's like being open to feedback, asking for feedback, providing feedback in a constructive way to other people. It's all very helpful. And it is for your benefit and also for the benefit of others to be honest and help them progress and develop.
Okay, cool. So this is the last slide. I just wanted to go over where we're at for career opportunities right now. I think this is what a lot of people have been waiting for. So unfortunately, our 2025 roles are completely full for our New Jersey, Long Island, and New York City offices. So we are doing a lot of our recruiting for 2026 right now. And I know it sounds so far out, but trust me when I say this, if you don't have a role for 2026 yet, start obviously applying and looking for them because these roles in the accounting world are going faster and faster and faster every year now. I know it feels like it can be stressful, but just trust me. At Forvis Mazars, we have audit and tax associates that we're recruiting for. We have start dates in January, July, and October. And then we have audit internships and tax internships that are both winter and summer internships. The winter internships run from the first week of the year to the end of busy season, like the week of April 15th. And the summer internship starts the last week of May and it runs through the second week of August. So the QR code that I had up earlier, that's where you can apply to these roles. I always recommend if you apply to any of our roles, once you apply, send me an email just letting me know that you applied. It's just a nice touch, the fact that we were just here presenting to you. This way I can make sure it's in, if it's a New Jersey, Long Island position, it would be in my hands, obviously. If it's a New York role, I can get it into Rebecca's hands, my counterpart who I work with. So, and it's also just the right thing to do. Like when I talk about communication, if you go to a career fair and you talk to someone, and you get their business card, someone to know, hey, it was nice meeting you, or I just applied to one of your roles. And that's not just Forvis Mazars. I think that applies pretty much anywhere. So these are our opportunities. And yeah, hopefully we see some of these FDU faces starting at some of them next year.
And I really hope that you connect with us on LinkedIn after
Yes.
today. Like if that's the one thing you do when you leave here today, even if we never speak again, but I hope we do. Connect with us on LinkedIn. That will at least you'll start to see the things that we're doing on your feed. You have a connection here with us. If you do decide you want to apply for an internship, or it's 10 years from now and you're hating your job at wherever you went because you didn't come work with us immediately, and say, hey, I saw your presentation back in 2025, at FDU. You remember me? And more than likely, I remember faces, so I probably would. But it's just a connection. It's a touch point, and it's really, that's what it's about. You'll see as your career progresses. It's all about making and building relationships, and just this thing that you came here today. Maybe you weren't even going to come. Maybe it was just by chance. You decided, oh, I guess I'll just go because I have some free time in between classes. Like it could be the stepping stone to you doing a presentation 15 years from now here and saying, hey, I was sitting in your seat 15 years ago, and now look, I'm a partner at hopefully will be much bigger than $5 billion at that point, global, accounting firm. So.
Definitely. Cool. Thank you, Rachel. I know we're at time right now, but I wanted to definitely open it up to questions. If I completely understand if it's a 4:30 to 5:30 meeting, but I don't know, how do you want to approach that?
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah.
How many hours do you guys do right now in the winter compared to the summertime?
So we're at a 55-hour work week on the tax side. I will tell you that not all of my team is working 55 hours right now, to be honest. But we do have work. We're really trying to ramp up now, just so that the compression when leading up to the March 15th and April 15th filing deadlines is not as bad. But I think from what I hear, and I've never worked in Big Four, but I have certainly a lot of friends who have in the past, and we have people on our teams who have worked in Big Four in the past, the hours are not comparable. I mean, for sure, the closer that we get in any season, and the last 2 weeks of a deadline, when it's a major filing deadline, are going to be the worst, just because we cannot control the flow of information from clients sometimes. So as much as we are proactive and as much as we press, sometimes the information is not available, or sometimes they're just not on top of it. They have a busy life. That's what we're here for. So, there's some, we try to control what we can control, but there's some things we can't. But yeah, so we'd be at 55 now, even though with the teams, not so much. But the summertime, I'd say, I mean, we have a 40-hour work week. I'd say for the most part, you're working 40 hours a big chunk of the year. There's not a lot of overtime expected outside of busy seasons. So.
Overtime's good for interns, though. You're getting paid hourly. Take advantage of it.
Yeah. And it sounds like sort of crazy weird, but like sometimes that's when you build the best relationships. Like when you're in the throes of busy season and you're working with your team and like everybody's working overtime and you're working late and you like order food or whatever, or you like bring food in the office, like that's kind of like a bonding experience in a weird way. And it's really not that terrible. Like you just kind of get used to working, and that's life. You just work. I mean, not even work all the time, but it's, the more you can find that you enjoy it and the people that you work with and the things that you're working on, it's not that terrible. And then when you think about it too, like that's what I really liked about tax and why I stayed in it. It's like, it's very predictable. Like I know when the deadlines are, I know when my busy season is, I can very much plan my life around it. Even with an 8-year-old child, I can still go last Friday when it was Valentine's Day and go in and do lunch duty at her school, and take an hour to go do that and then come back to my work, and it's come and do this tonight. Like there's a lot of flexibility, which is very, very nice.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, we do. So we actually have a separate team that handles our advisory and consulting internships and an entry level consulting positions. So like I said, I put our career website right there. If you go to our career website and just type in consulting, and you could see what's available. That's where you would apply to that. I have a good relationship with our consulting campus recruiting team as well. So that's why I really, especially for that, I definitely would say, please, if you apply to one of those roles, send me an email letting me know that you applied to one of those roles. This way I can get it into their hands, because I would probably say that 90 to 95% of the internships and entry-level positions are accounting positions, and about I'd say maybe 10%, 5 to 10% are in that consulting realm. So there's a lot of people that are very competitive roles. So just letting the person know that you spoke to, this way we can get it in someone else's hands so they can get a look at it before going through a whole stack of applications is very helpful. Yeah. I mean, there's all different consulting groups. It's not so much it would depend if it's the major. I mean, we definitely have the popular ones are our transaction and valuation advisory service groups. We have our risk advisory groups, more of the data analytics side of things. So it really depends on what your background is and what they're looking for. And that's where I would just kind of use your 2 cents of matching that up with what the job descriptions look like. And to be honest with you, I don't think many of the 2026 consulting internships are posted now. I actually looked at that last week. I think they're just trying to finalize a few of their entry-level ones for 2025. So if they're not posted right now, if a job isn't posted on our website, all of our roles are rolling applications. So if a job is posted, that means we're actively recruiting for it. If it's not posted, that means it's full or we haven't posted it yet. So especially those consulting ones, I would always just check in on the website every week or every couple of weeks. Yeah.
Any other last question? Virtually, person, Metro.
Okay, well, thank you so much, John, for coming to speak to us today. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate
Reminder,
it.
no meeting next week. Career fair is next Thursday, so please, if you're not registered for it, please do. Donation drive is going to be up until next Friday.
Well, I